Gems, hello, hello, my loves. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Gems, y'all got the castle and the bardo, the creator, the threshold, and the sustainer. Well, I mean, I feel like, Gems, well, like I feel shocked, slightly shocked. What do you mean this isn't what you want? My gems, little chatty Cathys that you are, going around talking to everybody and getting their opinions on it. you know, love y'all. I mean, I do, but it does. I think that, like, while I understand that there is this like need for validation, right? Like, you feel as though you've somehow been invalidated, and like maybe you've been accused of doing something, and you're like, what do you mean? I did this, and I feel like this person listed out of like a slew of things that occurred that left you feeling very much in need of validation. But I mean, I get it. It makes sense. But I mean, sure, validate your castle till, you know, the end of time. I don't know, like you can stay happily ever after in your castle. Validated by the many opinions, like that's totally okay. Nobody's going to stop you from doing that. And I think that you can continue to exist in that, and you'll be fine. Like, this isn't me being like, something bad's going to happen to you if you don't do this. No, you'll be fine, dude. You will be totally fine. Like, you won't get that. You won't you won't get that sense of validation that I think you're really seeking, but I think you'll be comfortable. You know what I mean? And that's fantastic. That's fucking a million times better than most people are doing. So, good job. Like, you're still doing things, Jem. You still have a castle. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. But I don't know. I just feel like that irritates you. That, like, that's gnawing at you. And you don't want the castle. I feel like I don't want the castle, I want the kingdom. And how would that resonate for you individually? Well, like maybe you've been under the thumb of an organization that is just soups sus. Like, or, like maybe you have been working at a job that you're like, well, I had a conversation with a gym the other day, and, they were telling me what they were doing, and, they were like, yeah, my boss was like, are you coming for my job? And they were like, hell no, I don't want your job. You know what I like? I don't want that. Like, I'm trying to do way more than that. You know what I mean? And gems, I feel like there's a part of you that's like, no, I'm trying to do way more than that. Maybe you've been in a stagnant energy for a while, and you've just really needed to like get your energy moving, because the castle does lend to that idea of just like inches of dust, just kind of like nobody's dusted in here forever. And you walk through a room and you have an allergic reaction, because you're just like to all of the dust. And it feels stagnant. It feels like a stagnant energy that you've been in. And I feel like you haven't totally understood, because it's like you develop a sense of like you're kind of numb. You're kind of numb to your surroundings. You're numb to like that you've become your it's every day to you. So it doesn't even like phase you, right? But then like somebody walks in from outside and all they see is like thick ass piles of dust, that like waft anytime somebody walks by. It's like, yo, shit's dusty. And it's like, I don't want to be dusty. Gems. I love y'all. And you're not. You're not. I'm not saying that you are. I'm saying that you have had something that has occurred in your life that has made you open your eyes to something that's going on, in terms of a lack of awareness in your life with something that has become very stagnant for you. And sometimes you can't see it until you see it through somebody else's eyes. And then when you see it through somebody else's eyes, I think that you desire to go in a direction where you don't have to look through that lens anymore. Yeah, I mean that's legit, because you don't want to be that person. And you don't want to be, because I feel like there's this sense of like, well, I have pressure. I have quotas that I have to meet, and I have, like I have to have this many hours, and I have to have this much money, and I have to da 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 da. And, and I just feel like there's this high anxiety, high tension energy that's like so lost in this, like all of the things that I have to do, that like you didn't even stop to look around and like check the energy, check the vibe, until you noticed other people noticing it. Again, you've been busy. You've had a lot going on. You have, I think, been doing your best, like don't be hard on yourself. You're doing great. You know what I mean? You're just not, for whatever reason, I feel like affiliated with something that's, or I think that you are affiliated with something that is just limiting you. You have the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. Gems, I think that you're getting an opportunity. I feel like there's just this sense, this desire to leave this castle, because when you see the castle through other people's eyes, somehow it suddenly just looks very dark and dusty. It's got like Havisham vibes. But you've got the Queen of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups, and I think that you're going in a new direction. You're going for a new opportunity, because I think that what you have, like the energy that you've been existing in, or the, like however that resonates for you, but I feel like it's become stagnant. Well, it's funny because, I mean, I work at a wellness center, and I completely restructured all of the inventory. But it changed the energy. It shifted the energy. And then we had like more people, and it was just kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like this need to like shift your energy, like move things around somehow in your life, situate, reorganize, restructure your inventory somehow. And start creating something that, like, when you walk into it, you don't feel like, ooh, you know? and and presentation really is everything. It's so funny to me because well, it's like the idea of greeting. Like, how do you greet someone when they walk in the door? Like if somebody walks in and you're like, hi, welcome in, like, I'm so happy you're here. Or do they walk in the door and you're like, ugh, why are you here in my store? Like, let me criticize you. Let me put you down. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, are you ever going to go back to that store again? Fuck no. You know what I mean? Or let me push things on you. Let me sell you this. Let me upsell. I just feel like this, like I'm going to try and milk it, milk money from you, because I have these requirements. So I have to do this, and it's like this cycle of like lack energy. And I don't think you recognized it as a lack energy until you saw it through another person's eyes. And then I think you go through a minute where you have to justify it according to all of the people who you know are going to agree with you. And then, you know, I think make a decision. Well, I don't know, because you guys have the Fairy Stallion, the Knight of Cups, the Four of Wands, and Justice. And I think that whatever is happening, there's just this sense of like, I'm going to bring justice to this. Because for some of you, I do think that in all sincerity, there is, I just kind of want to say like a cycle of abuse. You know, like the outside world looks at whatever's going on and they're like, yeah, I mean, but like, there's corruption. It's like you can't argue against the facts, and you can say that people are projecting onto you, but if they can offer you substantial evidence, then does that qualify as projection? I'm not sure that it does. Seems more like discernment to me, but it doesn't matter. Because I think that whatever this awareness that has been brought to your attention of like the stagnant energy, there is this idea of bringing justice to it, because you're going to start working with the people that you need to work with. You know, like, listen, it is important to have a good team of people no matter what you're trying to do, because you need to be able to work well together. And you need to be able to communicate, and you need to be able to have space for, you know, sincere interactions. And I think you need to have aligned visions. And I just feel like you haven't had that. You haven't had aligned visions. You haven't had clear paths, clear communication. You haven't had, you know, because that is a miscommunication. When somebody, like, if somebody goes to you, you know, seeking help, and then they feel like all you're wanting to do is take from them and criticize them and tell them, you know, like, well, if you don't do this, then you're going to be, you know, like, your energy's not going to be right. Or if you don't do this, then you're not going to be prepared the way that I can sell you on being prepared. You know, this woman came in today and she said, I want to ask you a question. And I was like, okay. She was like, do you see a negative energy around me? And I was like, no. Like, do you mean like you have like an entity that's attached itself to you, or like you feel like you're just in a negative energy? She was like, I don't know. But this woman told me that I had something attached to me, and then she tried to sell me like the cure for like getting this thing unattached. And I was like, no, no, don't trust it. You know what I mean? Because that's got dealer vibes on it. Like, I'm going to get you addicted to this. It's singular. Ooh, and singular is so limiting. You know, and it's like, don't be singular, Geminis. Surround yourself with good people who, you know, like, share in your goals, who have, you know, share in your vision, who don't make you feel like I'm drawing in the wrong people. You know, I mean, there is something to be said for clearing out. Like, if you had a falling out with someone and you guys just don't see eye to eye, like, be grateful that you don't have to exist in that energy, because you don't want to be in that energy. You know what I mean? Like, that, I don't think that makes you feel good about yourself. Like, you don't want to have to wheel and deal things out of people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not hustling, I'm aligning. And that's very different. And I'm sorry, you know, I just kind of feel like you were trying to hustle something instead of trying to align with it. And that's where that energy got knocked out of balance. But I think that energy got knocked out of balance for a lot of you because you had quotas and things that you needed to meet and expectations that have been placed upon you and frustrations that you were dealing with, and you were depleted. You were depleted. And so you gotta surround yourself with the right people. But I feel like, again, kind of like what's happening here is this revelation of what does it mean to be the right person and why. And are you somebody who just tells me what I want to hear because I want to hear it? Are you somebody who, like shows up? Are you somebody who is trying to hustle me? Or are you somebody who aligns with my vision and purpose? Because none of those are interchangeable. You know, you do. You do. Gems. The Three of Wands, the Five of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, the Lovers, the Ace of Cups, and the Knave of Swords. We got the Ace of Cups twice. That's always fun. I love when cards. Ace of Cups and Ace of Wands. Actually, gems. I love that. It's new beginnings, new relationships. And I feel like parting ways with the idea of having to hustle and stepping into a mentality of alignment where I feel like you're able to really create. I mean, the Lovers card, yes, it is, the Lovers. And for a lot of my gems, it could be that you're getting into a new relationship. That's very clearly here in this read. And for others of you, I feel like you're finally able to engage in your passion sans the need to hustle it, because there is nothing more repulsive energetically than hustling an energy. It's gross. I'm sorry. I've been in sales for so long, and the most repulsive thing that you can do is be a salesman. And I worked with this company, and they're one of the biggest national corporations, and they had us go through 160 hours of sales training, because you needed to be not the whole mentality was you're not a salesperson. At no point in time will you be referred to as a salesperson. At no point in time will you be given a title of that. You are a consultant, which means you understand what you're working with better than anybody else who they're going to work with. Because if you're a big national corporate, then you got to be big national corporate. You got to know more than the people who did it online or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? They took that shit serious. And I mean, I share that because I feel like that resonates here with you, gems. There's such a gross difference. There's such a gross difference between somebody who's passionate about what they're doing, and they're doing it because they're passionate about it and they want to offer it to people because it is sacred, and you can't put a price tag on sacred, because everyone should have access to that. You know what I mean? And I just feel like instead of trying to push things on people, you're stepping into an energy that says, this is my passion. And you don't have to sell people on passion. People recognize passion. Passion is like wildfire in a field of dead grass. It is. And if you can get that passion aligned, you can set that grass on fire, But if you allow for yourself to stay in that energy of hustle, and you come through as that salesman energy, in everything that you do, then that's where you're going to be. And yeah, I mean, but it's still a castle, right? Gems. Either way, you're good. And that's good. That's important, right? The kiss and a card that fell on the floor. The apocalypse. Well, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. A new relationship. A new form of because sexual energy is creative energy. Truly. But I just feel like this sense of if you take the sacredness out of the sexual energy and you just leave it as the sexual energy, right? Lust, flings, just frivolous here's and there's. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I think that for some of my gems, you viewed yourself as somebody who was like everyone wants to be here. And I think when you realize that, like, no, not really. Actually, everyone does not want to be there. Like your mega church is super fab fantastic for those, congregational members that you have, but it doesn't affect the masses. Your reach is limited. And I feel like there's been a lot of a lack of creativity to what you've done, because I think what you've done has just been according to structure. And I think it's a structure that's kind of oppressive. But welcome to the patriarchy. So it's time to create something that can actually be sustained, because that shit can't be sustained. It just sits there and collects dust, Okay, I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and sharing your energy with me. If this video did resonate with you, please do give me a like, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all again soon. Bye.